It showed that on a single day, the New Jersey sharing network threw out 100 pancreases after federal agencies started investigating this practice. Ms. Erickson, what does that mean for patients? They threw them away. What does that mean for patients? 100.
It means that 100 families in New Jersey, on the worst day of their life, because they lost a loved one, a wife, or a child to a car accident or some other injury, said yes to organ donation. They were lied to, and their loved ones' organs were cut out and left on shelves to exploit a CMS loophole.
When a member of Congress says 100 pancreases were thrown out, and the witness answers, families were lied to, you're not watching a paperwork mistake. You're watching a system that rewards the wrong outcome. And in this clip, they say the quiet part out loud on camera.
Member of Ways and Means, and I'm used to reading about waste, fraud, and abuse. It's rampant throughout the federal government, but today there's 2 words I'm going to add to it. In reading for preparation for today's hearing, it's shocking. It is shocking, and I'm so glad the cameras are watching, and I know C-SPAN is watching. America will be shocked when they find out what's happening behind these organ, just the way that we harvest organs and give organs to families, and breaking hearts. Ms. Knuckles, Ms. Martin, I'm truly sorry, and it is shocking. It's also, I'm going to use a word you don't hear very often, it's evil. It's evil to rob families of the hope, to mislead them, to take organs before any organ should be taken. I'm really sorry. So I've got a picture behind me, and I want to ask Ms. Erickson, can you explain what I'm looking at with this picture behind me, Ms. Erickson?
Yes, Congressman. According to a whistleblower, those are boxes of human organs that are sitting on shelves, including human pancreases.
So pancreas. Now, if you donate a pancreas, shouldn't they go directly towards somebody in need of a pancreas?
Yes, sir. That's what families agree to.
So why aren't they going? In fact, I know why they're going, because there's a loophole in the law that says that
Yes.
you can use them for research. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. In 2020, CMS finalized a new regulation that said that OPOs only get credit for organs that are actually transplanted. But the loophole allowed them to declare credit for pancreases that they said were recovered for research.
So the people that donated these organs thought they were going to save a life or do something big. Have we, as CMS, defined research or put any timeline on what research is?
No, sir, they have not.
How many pancreas do you know have been harvested since 2020?
Over 7,000 across the United States.
Is there any, do we know the data that came from the research? Do we have any info that these pancreases were actually used for research?
Sir, they were not. Since 2020, islet cell transplants have remained flat, while pancreas harvesting has exploded with no proof at all that they were used for research.
The investigation, and thank goodness the Oversight Committee, I want to give kudos to them. The reading is again, shocking and evil. It showed that on a single day, the New Jersey sharing network threw out 100 pancreases after federal agencies started investigating this practice. Ms. Erickson, what does that mean for patients? They threw them away. What does that mean for patients? 100.
It means that 100 families in New Jersey, on the worst day of their life, because they lost a loved one, a wife, or a child to a car accident or some other injury, said yes to organ donation. They were lied to, and their loved ones' organs were cut out and left on shelves to exploit a CMS loophole. And Ranking Member Sewell, this happened to hundreds of patients in Alabama too, and I'm happy to send you that data.
Our report shows our Inspector General found examples of OPOs, organ procurement organizations misusing Medicaid dollars on everything from sporting events, limousines, retreats, 5-star retreats, breaking the law on their nonprofit status. Ms. Erickson, an OPO CEO, Tom Moan from One Legacy in Los Angeles, gave a presentation about money in organ donation. He suggested that in America, it is the OPOs that hold the purse strings and that they only need the acquiescence of payers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, I've seen that presentation, and OPOs have clearly acted like they are in charge, inflating their costs with million-dollar salaries, such as that of Mr. Moan, and executive perks that have nothing to do with patient care.
Who pays? Who is the payer when it comes to organ transplants?
The largest single payer is Medicare, so the taxpayer.
And that's us, and that's us. Mr. Chairman, thank you for shedding the light. For everybody with the camera or watching, thank you. And if you're in media, this needs to be on the front page of every newspaper and on every newscast, that there is waste, fraud, and abuse, and it's shocking and it's evil.
Okay, let's translate what you just heard, because buried under the shocking and evil is the part that actually matters: incentives. According to the witness, in 2020, CMS tightened the rules so OPOs only get credit for organs that actually get transplanted. But there's a loophole where they can still claim credit for pancreases recovered for research. And here's the key detail. When Congress asks, did CMS define what counts as research? Did they put a timeline on it? The answer is basically no. So imagine building a system where the scoreboard says, you get points if you say it was for research, and nobody checks whether it was actually used. That's not oversight. That's a suggestion box with a tax ID number. Then you get the headline numbers: over 7,000 pancreases since 2020. And when asked if there's data proving they were used for research, the witness says they were not, and points out that islet cell transplants stayed flat while harvesting exploded. Now, let's be careful with language. Those are claims made in testimony, but if even a fraction of that is true, this isn't a bad day at the office. This is a pipeline that turns grief into inventory. The most brutal moment is the New Jersey line. They threw out 100 pancreases after federal agencies started investigating. The witness immediately reframes it the way people at home actually feel it. That's 100 families on the worst day of their lives who said yes to donation and were lied to. That's the moral core of this story: consent, trust, and the claim that the system treated that trust like it was optional. And then, because it's America, follow the money. They talk about Medicaid dollars allegedly being used for things like sporting events, limousines, and retreats, plus nonprofit issues. The witness describes million-dollar salaries and executive perks that have nothing to do with patient care. Here's the dark joke that writes itself. When the system has a research loophole, apparently the research is, how expensive can we make the invoice before anyone notices? And then they land the punchline. Who pays? Medicare, so taxpayers, which means this isn't just about ethics, it's about accountability. If public money is involved, public standards apply, period. So the real question isn't whether the congressman said the word evil. The question is, what happens next? Because if your system can claim credit without proving outcomes, it will always drift toward the easiest path: paperwork points instead of lives saved. And if the allegations in this hearing are accurate, then restoring trust doesn't mean another press release. It means closing the loophole, defining research in plain English, enforcing audits with teeth, and treating grief like a sacred obligation, not a revenue stream. If you want more hearings broken down like this, subscribe, because this is one of those stories that will disappear unless people keep it alive.